This is the deck where I was 7-0 at one of the largest Pokemon regionals ever in Orlando. And I was even mentioned on stream, which was really cool. So why did I play this version and not the mainstream Pidgeot version? Well, I tried the Pidgeot version and it just never really clicked with me, and it just seemed like my Pidgeot was always getting targeted because it's the right thing to do. And I really liked the Bibero Squirtle engine because you can dig through your deck and see a bunch of cards to get what you need without having to use a supporter. So yeah, here's the list that I brought to Orlando. I try to focus mainly on consistency because I just like playing more Pokemon, and breaking in a large event like regionals, it's just no fun. So yeah, I played 4 Charmanders. 3 of them were the Heat Tackle Charmanders, and 1 of them was the 70 HP Charmander. I had the 70 HP Charmander because I don't have Jirachi in this list, and I think I got pretty lucky in this event because I didn't hit too many Lost Box decks. I only hit 1 Lost Zone Giratina, and it was a pretty scary matchup without the Jirachi, but the 70 HP Charmander was supposed to help with that. But in all the other matchups, I really liked the Heat Tackle Charmanders because with 1 energy, you can do 30 damage, and this came up pretty often. And I'm also playing 2 Charmeleons because if I ever prized one, I can still have 1 more if I ever decide to use my TM Evo. I had 2 100 HP Charmeleons, but I changed one to the 90 HP Charmeleon, the one with the Heat Tackle. With 2 energies, you can do 70 damage. And that's pretty relevant for almost any small basic Pokemon. 3 Charizards and a 3-3 line of Bibarel. At first, I didn't like the 3-3 line of Bibarel, but after playing it, I really liked it because if I ever prized one of the pieces or the opponent bosses up a Bibarel, you can quickly set up the 3rd line of Bibarel without using a Super Rod. Now, onto the support Pokemon. I played Manaphy for this event because there's a lot of Shenpao hype going into the event, and I didn't feel safe leaving the house without my Manaphy. Radiant Charizard, super solid 1 prize attacker. I used it almost in every game against the V-Star decks and in the mirror. Squirtle was super good as well. You can't leave your house without the Squirtle because it resets your hand and you can get maximum value off the Bibarel. Cleffa was something that my friend told me to add, saying it was super busted after doing it well at EUIC. Because EUIC and Orlando were so close together, I wasn't able to test Cleffa too much, and something I learned during the event was that you can Squirtle to 1 and then Cleffa to reset your hand back to 7. I ran 4 Buddy Poffins, 4 Ultra Balls, and 2 Nest Balls. I try to include as many ball searches as possible. As for the tools, I have Vitality Band, Defiance Band, and TM Evo. Even though I'm going second, there's a lot of times where you can't pull it off, but when you do pull it off, it's really strong. The Defiance Band was also really good. I got a lot of use out of it in most of my games. The Vitality Band, I didn't get too much value out of as the Defiance Band, so maybe that's a potential cut. The supporters were pretty standard. 3 Arvins. I had to make a cut for the 4th Arvin for the Cleffa. I didn't really notice the 4th Arvin missing, so I think I would keep this change. 3 Ionos, a healthy amount of hand disruption, which is really important for Charizard. I have 2 Cypher Maniacs. It's a really good card. It synergizes really well with Bibarel and Squirtle and even Cleffa. This is really strong because you can stack your key combo pieces and then draw them right after with Bibarel. Or you can Bibarel first and then you can stack your cards for next turn, Iono-proofing yourself. We have 3 rare candies. We just need to have enough rare candies to turn our Charmanders into Charizards because that's our main attacker. We have 1 Lost Vacuum, which was really important for the future box matchup. I didn't really get punished for having only 1 Vacuum because I didn't hit any Gardevoirs for this regionals. Having the item switch was also really good as well in case they ever boss up your Bibarel or if you need to reset your Radiant Charizard. Now onto the Gust options for the deck. I'm on 2 bosses, 2 counter catchers, and 1 prime catcher. At first I was on 3 bosses and 1 counter catcher, but the more I thought about it, the second counter catcher made more sense because in the format now there are a lot more decks that are looking to go ahead and take the first prize like Lugia, Arceus, and Shenpao, and even in the mirror, which allows you to use your counter catchers. And then the ace spec of the deck is Prime Catcher, which is super strong. It just doubles up as a item gust or a switch. Having more item gusts like second counter catcher or the prime catcher might not seem too crazy, but it basically turns your Arvins into gust options. A lot of my endgame scenarios was basically if I had the gust, I won, and if I didn't, I lost. And using the Bibarel Squirtle engine, I was seeing about like 8 to 10 cards in my maybe 20 card deck, and I had about like 7 or 8 outs because of the Arvins, the counter catchers, the prime catchers, the raw bosses. So I had a lot of outs, and a lot of the times I would get it because I just had so many more outs. Now for the energy counts, we have 7 fire energies and a jet energy. The jet energy is just another switch out in case they try to lock the Bibarel or the Radiant Charizard in the active. And we have 2 super rods, which is really important to recover your important Pokemon and or fire energies. So yeah, that's the deck that I brought to Orlando. I had a really fun time working with this deck, and I'm still going to be playing with it because there's probably going to be new cards and new ways to play this deck to adapt to the format. Even 2 weeks ago, the deck looked completely different from my final list that I brought to Orlando. So it's going to be interesting to see how this deck changes until the next regionals.